Welcome to the Charlotte Way Show. A little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. So happy to have you with me this evening. Tonight, I have with me a very interesting guest. Someone who's going to talk about someone's going to talk about a real other option for many things in America today. So often we are looking at the only left-right option or Republican Democrat option. He is going to talk about the idea of a third option. And I hope it's interesting. If it isn't, lie to me and say it is. But I'm bringing on the man himself. He is an entrepreneur and an activist, a friend of mine, actually someone who helps me out with all kind of crazy policy and stuff. I don't know why he hangs around me, but he does. The man himself, Jerome Bell. How are you, sir?
Hey, Larry. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Jerome, I need some more light on you somehow. Can you put some light on you? You are looking super dark right now. Like I can hardly see you.
Sorry about that. I'm trying to have some technical difficulties here.
Okay.
So just give me a second for the light. But happy to be on here as soon as you see me.
Yes, one day we'll be able to see you, so that will be nice. Shelly actually is very happy. She says good evening off the bat. Thank you, Shelly, for watching. I appreciate that. And Andrew yells hi. That's better. Okay, we got something. Can we get that? It's better. You need some good lighting, my friend.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know, now we're rocking and rolling. Now we got some light. I like this. Way better. Now, there we go. Now we can see you. I like that very much. At least now we can see you. I'm happy about that. Look, the reality of it is, if you want to check out what he's doing, head over to thirdoption.party. Thirdoption.party is going to be exactly what you want to see what he's doing. So let me ask you about that third option. What is third party? What is the third option?
Yeah, third party is a new political party, and it serves one purpose: to be a fail-safe for dysfunctional political system.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. So it's actually not based upon ideology alone. It's a political party that's not based on ideology because its function is just to be a fail-safe. So think of like a backup generator. And so
that feels like, is that kind of like what Forward Party's trying to do? Like Forward Party, if I understand what they're trying to do, is kind of create like a place for people to run if they can't run in the two major parties. Is it like that or different from that?
It's like that, except, for me personally, I don't know much about, Forward Party, and so I'm like, there's clearly a gap in terms of what I'm looking for and what they've accomplished so far, not to knock them. And so I think the biggest thing is ideology. I think ideology prevents people from playing nice, and you need ideology, you need to stand for something, but at the same time, I think what we fundamentally lack is just, do we have proof that our system just simply works, that we actually have representative government? And so the way to get around that basis in ideology is all of our policies are going to be mainstream rather than moderate. Moderate, in my opinion, means watered down controversial policies. So it makes sense that people can't get behind them.
Okay, hold on. Let me make sure. Like most people would say that moderate is mainstream. Right. You're saying that moderate's not mainstream.
Right. So if you want to know what's actually mainstream, you got to ask people what they sincerely believe in their heart of hearts behind closed doors and off the record. Okay. That's the information we need.
But then they get canceled, Jerome. You're going to get these people canceled.
Right. So if only there was a third party that welcomes any and all ideas, and it's a discovery process. So I don't care how outlandish you think your ideas are. It actually may be mainstream. Your messaging may be terrible.
Okay. Okay.
So
sure. I'll buy that.
Yeah. So it's really a discovery process. Come any and come all. I don't care how crazy you think your ideas are. When you have rational, non-emotional people who are willing to have a conversation about it, we can understand how to provide it, to show it in the best light, right? Unlike my lighting, right? To show it in the best light, okay? To say, this actually may be mainstream. And even if it's not, at least we got your messaging to the best of its ability so that it can find the right party or the right.
All right. So is someone going to third option.party? because they're a candidate, because they're an activist, because they're just somebody who's pissed off? Why is someone going there?
Yeah, all the above. If the status quo system has not served you well, third party is a part of the solution to kick the whole system back into order. So one of the things is that third party is not in trying to be the end all be all, meaning we are going to intentionally not win most of the time. We're going to make sure we win a minority of the time. If you're winning a majority of the time, right, you can beat your chest and have let your ego boost, but you're no longer a
I like winning. I want to win. I like winning.
right, right. But now you're no longer a fail safe for a dysfunctional political system. If you're using your backup generator more than half the time, it's not a backup generator. You just have a system.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's your actual generator at that point.
You got it. And that's not what third party is. It's just a fail safe.
That is, I got to tell you, no one's talking about that. Everyone's trying to become the new third party or the new powerhouse or the new thing. You're saying literally, no. Only use me when the lights are going out.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So then how does this party stay relevant when the lights are on, right? How do we make sure that when we need a generator, there's actually a generator, like there's whatever kerosene in it or whatever you're using, right? There's
Right.
actually some energy in it that actually works, right? How do we know this if we're only using it when the lights go out?
Right. So who's keeping it alive when it's not needed?
Who's maintaining it? Yes.
Teenagers. So this party,
Teenagers.
yes, this party is going to be exclusively operated and controlled by teenagers. 13 to 18, 19, you're out.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay, so that makes them, that you're giving them experience then.
Yep.
In basically politics, organization, all those things, so that when they get booted out, maybe they can actually build another real third party or go out there and make a better Democratic Party, a better Republican Party, whatever. They can do that.
Bingo.
Interesting idea. Okay, but let me ask the crazy question: are 13 to 18-year-olds, are enough of them interested, or are they still, whatever, dancing on TikTok or whatever the cool kids are doing? I'm old man, I don't know what the cool kids are doing, but whatever the cool kids are doing, are they too busy doing the cool kid stuff, or are there enough who say, you know what, no, I'm in, I will do this?
Right. Well, what we're doing is we're asking the teenagers to be the hero of the story. We're asking them to be the Avengers. We are explicitly saying the adults have never solved this issue. I believe the adults cannot solve this issue. And so we're calling on the Avengers when they're needed to solve the issue. That proposition has never been presented to teenagers before, as far as I know.
I've never heard it.
And so
we're
I've
never heard of it either.
Right. And so this isn't an adult ran thing, an adult ran organization where we create a space, a teen division. No, you're running the joint. And legally, only you will run the joint, because we're going to be structured actually as a trust. That's going to be our legal structure, not a corporation, not a LLC. It's going to be a trust. And then the trust, we're going to stipulate that only 18-year-olds can be trustees so that they can legally transact and whatnot. So it's intergenerationally, legally locked into teens only.
Wow. So, okay, but then what stops the 18-year-olds from going, well, my uncle's got a lot of money and he's 50, so let's change the trust and let one 50-year-old in so he can give us a bunch of money?
Right. So number one, the trustee can only change the trust if the trust gives that power to the trustee. So from a practical standpoint, they couldn't change that provision if you structure the trust properly.
Got it. Okay, so this is in perpetuity then.
In perpetuity.
Even with the rich uncle, doesn't matter.
Say it again.
Even with the rich uncle, it doesn't matter.
You got it.
Got it. Okay. So now the kids are running this thing. It's set up, prepared, they're keeping the maintenance. So now I'm a candidate. I realize left and right in my world's not working. I can't get in the ballot someplace else. I can't do anything. I then what? call teenagers up and say, hey, I want to run for city council in whatever.
Yeah, it'll be as simple as that.
What about ballot access issues?
Right. So they're going to be ballot access issues. So number one, I'm not a legal expert. That's why I'm going to crowdsource with the teens. But the party, because it's going to be structured as a trust, it probably won't be recognized as an actual party. Because
so they'll get on the ballot individually each time.
You got it. Until we change the law. We get into office, we can change the law to be more reasonable and accommodating, where the actual trust can be considered the actual legal political party.
No, I get what you're saying. So what you're saying then is, if we keep the youth excited, if we do this, so that when we have to get whatever signatures or petitioning or whatever, well, now we have an army of teenagers to go out and do that for the person who needs to get on the ballot for this specific time. Yes. And they would go on just as an independent third party, not as Forward, not as Libertarian, not as Green. They'd go on as whatever. And if they win, then as a new independent, and they can then help to change the laws, or even in theory, switch parties if they wanted to, right?
What do you mean a switch party?
Well, let's say the person says, I'd like to be a Democrat in Chicago, right? But the Democratic machine won't let me get on. They fight me and I lose, and I got these good ideas. I want to change the Democratic Party in Chicago. So I'm going to go. I can't do this. I'm going to go call up third party. So I call up third party and I say, hey, I want to run. And they go, yes, we're going to get you out there. The youth goes out, helps us out. I win my city council seat, right? Now that I won a city council seat, I could go back to Democrat or back to Republican or whatever, knowing that now I owe third party something. And so now maybe I want to be better to them and maybe have some respect for third parties. Is that kind of what could happen, and you'd be okay with this?
It could, but I would take out the piece of don't feel that you owe us anything.
Oh, okay.
You pay it forward by improving your origin party, your home party, right? Or just serving the folks. So don't ever feel like you owe us political favors. The teams will be just fine.
I like that. The teams will be just fine. I love that idea. Okay, so this third party piece, it sounds good, but does it also function as, I guess, activism when it comes to other things, not just running for office, right? For example, if there is a law that we want to have changed, if there is a petition to get something on a ballot for a ballot initiative, does it work for this too, or is this really just for running for office?
Yeah, absolutely. So there on the website, thirdoption.party, there is the list of existing policies. So if they're
okay.
So it's going to be policy driven. And to your credit, Larry, I learned that from you and how you run your policies, and LarrySharp.com, which is a policy library for anyone, regardless of your party or if you're independent. So yes, we plagiarize some of your material there, and we will continue to do so. But we also have some of our originals as well. And so yes, we'll be aggressively involved with policies and trying to discover truly mainstream policies and document it on our website so that people know, hey, for what it's worth, this is what we find to be mainstream. Let's include that in the conversation.
Okay, let me grab a couple comments real fast. Andrew says, so kind of like Forward Party. And I think, yeah, kind of, but not the same. But yes, there's a similarity, I guess, in a way. Shelley says, I got a doorknob hanger for a town board candidate who calls themselves an unaffiliated candidate. Look at that. Same idea. You could be unaffiliated. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes. Juan says, I love what I'm hearing so far. We need to get away from choosing gang colors when it comes to politics and start to learn how to choose the right candidate with the right solution.
There we go. Perfect.
There we go. Andrew then goes on and says, policy is better than personality. Forest Mommy says, sounds like a good plan. Love the outside of the box thinking. That's what we have to do. This is true. I think we have to make this happen in some way, right? But I want to keep going if I go. By the way, for those of you who are enjoying this, please click the like button. I always ask you to do so, but please do it. I have to get past the algorithms. Please do it if you can. And if you want to check out what Jerome's doing, go to thirdoption.party And that is where the details are of what he's doing right there. Again, it's third option at party. I also, if you want to look at both not LinkedIn, I'm sorry. If you want to look at Facebook and also YouTube, I put his contact, his Linktree. If you want to see if you want to connect directly to Jerome, his Linktree link is right there. But when I went to third option.party,
yeah,
I actually saw other things. It wasn't just the party. What else is going on there?
Oh, so you mean the umbrella mega school?
Yes, I saw mega school. I saw prison ministry. Is that right?
Yes, prison ministry. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that part of this third party or is it separate? It was on the same website, so I wasn't sure if they're connected or not.
Great question. Yeah. Mega school is the umbrella organization. Mega school is high school, except it's for adults. So whenever we find ourselves saying, man, I wish I learned that in school, mega school is an opportunity to learn it right now with other adults. And I'm trying to decentralize education. So instead of having people go to the place of education, I want to bring the education to the people. That means the dens and living rooms of all Americans. So it's a paradigm shift to decentralize education. So when I look at financial literacy is the number one in demand. This third party is actually the civics course. So it's almost
okay. So that's how it came. The school has almost like a civics division or civics course, and that's third party, and that's how high school, and that's how now that connected to me. I was wondering why they're together. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And eventually, once the teens actually set up their trust, then it will be 100% independent. Third party will mega school will simply reference third party. So that's what mega school is supposed to be. We're just supposed to be a pointer to where the best in breed of resources are.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. All right. So what about the prison ministry part? Is that also part of mega school, or where does that go?
Mega school, but it does have there's a link. So basically, the prison ministry is basically to affirm the dignity and oftentimes masculinity of prisoners when you can't provide for your family. However, if you have a family trust fund, you can you can generate funds that goes directly into the family trust fund. Then the family trust fund pays the family's bills. So as a prisoner, you cannot legally earn money yourself, but you are not your trust. So you fund the family trust fund. Family trust fund pays for the family's bills. Now, how are you going to get money into the family trust fund? Actually, there's three third-party policies that can help with that. One is the tax income bounty. That'll sound familiar to you, Larry. Where basically we're saying, hey, if you have an idea of how to save the government money, we'll give you 1% of the savings. So let's say you have this crazy idea, but you're pretty sure it's going to work. You can save the local city $1 million in tax revenue. Well, as a thank you for saving the city $1 million, they'll give you 1% of those savings. That'll be 10 grand. The other one is the retirement.
10 grand in prison's a lot of money.
Hey, right. But it's not going to the prisoner, it's going to the family trust fund.
Right.
So there's also the retirement income bounty. You can look at that on the website, as well as the GIVE, the graduated income boost. That's actually your idea, Larry. There's a bounty for getting people even off of that. So there actually is a link there, but it
Got
is.
it. So third option, if I get it, is basically you're using different types of law and different types of entities to kind of get away from the system that's screwing people over. Is that right?
Yeah, the law is designed to protect us, not limit us. But we've been miseducated. So when we understand how the law actually works, such as English common law, the highest law of the land, the law under which the U.S. Constitution was written, when we understand that we're protected under English common law, then we structure.
Hold on. I want to push back on that. It's not that we don't know. It's that the non-wealthy don't know. The wealthy figured this out a long time ago.
Fair enough.
Right.
So Fair enough. So we're mainstream the information. And here's the thing: to make it sustainable, how do we know we're not going to lose this information if no one else in the nation knows this information? The teens.
Yeah, I got it. It's good. Forest Mommy's watching, and she says trusts are good. My parents put everything into one this year. I learned a lot. That's good to know. You could use it for inmates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to your point though, you're using it for inmates. However, you're really using it for the inmates' families. Right. So it's for inmates, yes, but it's really for their families. Right. And that's the part that's always bothered me. When we talk about prison reform, it's a little bit off topic, but I want to bring it up because you brought it up. Most of the time we're talking about either prisoners or prison guards. Both important. But what about the family of the people in jail who didn't do anything wrong? Right? So just because your dad or your brother or your husband or your uncle screwed up doesn't mean you should be punished for that. Obviously you are, because they're your family member. But if you could still pay your bills, that would be nice. I agree with the concept completely. And the other thing that you bring up here, which is how to use the law to actually protect yourself versus the law that just punishes us, right? And how so many people who are wealthy do this all the time. And I'll use the phrase entities. I have several entities myself, right? I use entities for different reasons because I understand that, because I've spent a lot of my time coaching people who are wealthy. And they've told me, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that. So yeah, I have picked up a lot in my travels also. So third option, if I get this right, third party is more than politics. It's almost like, it's going to sound cheesy. It's almost like a way of life, a lifestyle. It sounds very cheesy, but it kind of is. Am I right?
Yeah, it's a paradigm. It's a mental paradigm shift.
Oh, I like that. That sounds way better than lifestyle. Yes, it is a mental paradigm shift. Way better. Yeah. Yes.
Right. Because a lot of problems that we see in politics can be avoided with existing law. And you basically alluded to it. The wealthy know how to navigate around the tax code. Well, then these teens are going to learn how. So these teens are going to learn how to navigate around the tax code. And I'll give you a concrete example. Because we're structured as a trust, we're actually not going to have one trust, we're going to have two. So it's almost be like, so third party New York will be a business trust and a foundation trust. But what's a foundation trust? A foundation trust is a trust, but it is also a 501c3 organization registered under federal law. And so basically, I'm in Chicago, right? So we're going to have third party Chicago, third party Illinois. So they're also going to come in pairs, the business trust and the foundation trust. And by properly structuring ourselves, we're going to be at a 0 to 5% tax liability. So there could literally be billions of dollars flowing into the party, and we're a for-profit entity, but we're only going to pay 0 to 5% tax. The wealthy have known this for over a century. All teenagers in the nation are going to know it now, and thus the general population.
I remember this is why everyone always talks about how, the richest people in the world pay less by percentage than their secretary. Yes. Yep. That's 100% true. Yes. Right. There are a lot of people who are very wealthy, and in reality, their tax rates, less than 10%. Right. Yep. Their overall is less than 10% income because where they put their money, entities, the whole deal. I completely agree. And they're also very good at putting their money in the right spots. Again, legally, right? Legally. I'll make sure we say this openly. So my NSA agent, FBI agent who's listening to me, I am saying legally. I'm only saying do this legally. Yes, absolutely. So, okay. So if we do this with the youth, how does that help me, Forest Mommy? How does it help us if this is focused on the teenagers? Or does it not? Are we just saying, you know what? Fine. We'll just help the youth and not us. How's it going to help me and Juan? How do Juan and I get helped?
Yeah, so this is the critical distinction between the party and the politician and the voter. So the running, and let me know if you agree with this, Larry, but the impression I got is when you're running for office, that campaign is effectively like running a small business.
Yes and no. It is. However, it's much more of a passion project than a business project. But yes.
No, I mean logistically. Strictly in terms of logistically. Yeah. So basically the logistic of running a party, that's going to be with the teens, but anyone of any age can run as a candidate.
Ah, got it. Sure. Okay, now I'm clear. Got it.
And then,
Okay,
yeah, and so the policies are going to be oriented around serving the folks.
got it. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, that makes sense. So what happens when the Chicago, you know, DA decides this ain't gonna work? We got to get rid. We got to get rid of this guy. This guy Jerome, he's making too much sense. He's actually making the youth not go to jail like we want them to go to jail. He's actually making them think smart, and they're saving on taxes. We're not. No. We got to come after him. What happens when they decide this is working far too well? You're actually solving problems. We got to stop you. Have you thought about how do you get the powers that be to stay off your back?
It's not me they need to worry about. It's the teens.
Okay. So you want to put the teens in jail? Wait a minute.
They can't put them all in jail. And I'm actually being serious.
And they've been trying in New York City and Chicago. They're trying. They are trying to do so, but they can't. You're right. They can't put them all in jail, even though they're trying. I see. I see why you did this, right? It's now as you talk it out, I think I'm starting to get it. Now you have a video on your website, and I went through some of that video, and it's a part where you talk almost like a who, what, where, when type thing, right? In that video, walk me through that.
The who, what, when, why, how, right?
Something I don't remember, but it was
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I think it was the standard. Let me try to remember. The who would definitely be teenagers, 13 to 18,
Right.
19 you're out. The what is a fail safe for dysfunctional political system. Okay. The why is if we have an actual functional system. We need proof of it. Because if we don't, then we need to take other measures. Okay.
Got it.
However, I don't think it's going to come to anything violent if we have third party. Who, what,
I agree completely. Yes.
when?
I like this way better than violence. I'm with you. Yes.
Yeah. When? Now. There's nothing stopping any of this from going forward right now. There's nothing I'm waiting for other than the manpower, if you will. Who, what, when, why?
How?
How is the trust? The trust is critical. The trust allows us to keep it in perpetuity with just the teenagers, and it will outlive any particular generation.
So let me now ask, I think what I think are the two most important questions. Number one is, are you ready right now? And if you're not ready right now, what do you have to do? Like, how do you have the teenagers ready to go, or the trusts all set up, ready to go now? If not, what do you need to get these teenagers up and running and these trusts up and running?
Right. What I need is teenagers with attitude.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay.
Not teenagers with an attitude, but teenagers with attitude.
Okay.
That's what I need more than anything. And really, Larry, to your credit, I'm basing off of my personal experience volunteering with you. I think first and foremost is have it policy oriented. So kind of on two-way for both the parents, for the teen and myself, we're going to mutually vet each other by seeing how we conduct ourselves in policy meetings. And we've live streamed policy meetings.
Yep.
So that's how we're going to kind of mutually vet each other. In the process of that, I'm going to discover if the teen is into social media already. Well, I guess you're going to guess who's going to be on the social media team. If you have someone who's an excellent writer, a researcher, a journalist, the beauty about politics.
So hold on. Now I got to ask a more important question now here. Sure. So you're going to be bringing. So if I'm a parent of a teen who's between 13 and 18, I'm basically going to go to you and go, hey, I think my kid is going to be good for this.
Yeah.
Put them on a policy team. Is that basically what's going to happen, or that kind of thing?
I wouldn't immediately put them on a policy team. I would put them in I would kind of almost have the introduction is come to a policy meeting.
Got it. Okay. So then I'm the parent. I got a 15-year-old. I think this can be good for her. I say, hey, Jerome, here's my 15-year-old. Can you put her into one of your things? You go, got it, 100%. She then joins a policy meeting. She watches that happen, and you begin to go back and forth with the parents to make sure that it fits, it's the right answer, whatever the case may be.
Right.
Now, this trust, in this case, the one you just talked about, for the sake of argument, is a Chicago trust. What if I'm in Miami? What if I'm in New York? Does it matter?
No, because like we're doing right now, especially in the post-COVID world, we could run this thing virtual. Obviously, we want things preferably in person. That's something we really emphasize locally. But to get things started, we start virtual, no problem.
So then initially this is actually more of a push in a way, not just of teens, but parents of teens, both.
Yes.
And then we get them together. Go ahead.
I got one other thing to really drive home the point. I'm asking parents to break the cardinal sin and talk about politics at the dinner table. But do it from the third party perspective.
Okay, tell me what.
So
everyone right now just yells, "My talking head told me you're evil, therefore you're evil." That's kind of how today's politics works.
Right. So when you bring up politics at the dinner table, if you talk about it from a third party perspective, the number one question actually is what you're proposing even mainstream? That requires you to be in touch with your own community, because you may have a great idea, but if it's not mainstream, third party can't take it up.
So, okay, that the conversation of who judges that?
The parent.
I mean, I might think that my plan is mainstream, but somebody else goes, "No, Larry, that's nuts. Nobody wants that, right? Nobody wants to make it a law that the New York Yankees have to win the World Series every year, right?" I think that's completely mainstream, and the Yankees should, by law, win the World Series every single year by law. And if anyone doubts, they should go to jail for 20 years, right? That seems totally mainstream to me. But to somebody who isn't a Yankee fan, that may seem absolutely crazy.
That's a great point, and it all goes back to mainstream rather than moderate. So the only real point of contention in third party is what actually is or is not mainstream, not what should be mainstream, not what you want to be mainstream, but what currently is. Which means you can have a healthy debate as to this is why I think this is what most people sincerely believe in their heart of hearts behind closed doors, off the record.
So what they feel in their heart behind closed doors, off the record. But some of that stuff is really not so cool, right? If people are wearing certain armbands, they tend to wear those armbands behind closed doors and not in public because they might get punched with certain armbands. So I'm not saying which armbands those are, but I think they are red, white, and black. So I think the armbands I'm speaking of. So I guess, how do we know which who's gonna is this just the group of people talking?
Yeah. And if there's not a lot of room for heated debate, because ultimately you can only make so much of an argument of what you sincerely believe the mainstream believes. And ultimately you can't prove it. You can't get into someone's heart and mind. So it's very little room for that type of toxic discussion.
Okay.
That's true. Not a lot of room.
If you're wearing an armband, everyone knows it's not mainstream. That's true. You're right. Otherwise, you'd be wearing your armband out in the street. So
true.
I guess that is true. All right. I see where you're going with this. I see how that could move forward. All right. So what is the first step for somebody who wants to be involved? Is it just go to the website? What is it?
Yeah, thirdoption.party. If you scroll all the way down, there's a form to say, your name, your contact information, and how you basically what your current interest is. And it could be as little as, I'm exploring. So, let me connect to the policy. It's really a podcast, but let me connect to the policy podcast just to get my feet wet and see where to navigate from there. And, so that's where they can take that.
There we go. Guys, if you like what you're hearing, then please do me a favor, click that like button, right? Please do that. You can always retweet this on Twitter so more people can see this. It's always good to let more people see what we're doing and things that are happening. If you want to see actually what Jerome is doing, head over to thirdoption.party. You can do that. Check out Jerome. You can also head over either to the YouTube page or to the Facebook page, and his Linktree is right there to see all his links. You're going to connect to Jerome directly. Jerome, let me ask you, did I miss anything? Something else we should be talking about?
I think we really hit on the main points. It's hopefully straightforward, radical, different, but this is something I believe is going to be the hottest thing for teenagers of all time.
There we go.
This is
I
gonna
like that.
yeah.
So someone says, so no federal agents. They're the only ones I've seen with armbands. Well, the armbands I'm talking about, anyone could buy. I mean, not legally. Well, maybe legally. Not in Germany, they couldn't buy them, not legally. But here they can buy them legally if they want to. Those are the armbands I was speaking about. So yes, but my point being, I'm not, look, if you want to wear the armband, I get it, but it's clearly not mainstream. So, but you bring up another piece though with that, right? You're talking about the idea that what people actually want, not what the talking head tells them they're supposed to want. That's the difference, right? I do get that completely. So the Shelby County Libertarian Party is watching, and they say the Mets should win the World Series every year. Penalties will be decided later. That is actually incorrect, but that's okay. You get to have that opinion, but it's not mainstream. Mainstream's Yankees. Sorry, how it works. Anyway, just saying that. So, all right, Jerome, I want to say thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Larry. It's been awesome.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope it was entertaining for you. I hope you learned something new. Check out thirdoption.party. I will be back on sometime tomorrow. Not sure when, but I will. And also Thursday, I will also be doing another special show during the day. I will